Make sure you have 3ds Max open. In order to use Video Post, you do not need to have any scenes open. Video Post is located under the Rendering menu in the main menu. Go ahead and click on the Rendering menu and choose Video Post from the drop-down menu. This brings up the Video Post dialog. You'll see the cue list on the left-hand side, and right now we have a single range bar running horizontally across the top. We currently have 4 sequences of PNG files that have been rendered for our final production. We will queue them up and adjust the range bars so that they will play back one after another using cut transitions. In the Video Post dialog toolbar, click on the Add Image Input Event button. In the Add Image Input Event dialog, click on the Files button. Navigate to the Chapter 12 Images folder in the Render Output directory. Remember, we changed our default project to use the Understanding 3D Project folder. When you click the Files option, it should automatically default to the Render Output directory of that folder. If you look through the directory, you'll see all of the individual PNG files that were rendered out for each individual shot. We'll start with the exterior. Find the file that's called exterior0000.png. Click to highlight that file. Make sure that the sequence option is checked. We want to load the whole sequence of files as a single animation. That will load the sequence into the queue as one entry. Click Open. In the Image File List Control dialog, it will ask us what frames we want to load into the Video Post queue. In this case, we want to keep the defaults. Then click OK. What this is going to do is not actually load the files themselves, but it's going to create a file called exterior0000.ifl. This file is a simple ASCII text file that contains a list of the individual frames in the proper sequence. Now let's name the input event. In the label type-in, enter exterior, then click OK. You'll see that the first event in our queue is called exterior. In order to see the entire sequence, we need to click the Zoom Extents button for the Video Post queue in the lower right-hand corner. It's the second button in from the left. Now we can tell that our sequence of images is 60 frames long. Make sure that nothing is highlighted in the Video Post queue. That's extremely important. Click the Add Image Input event again. Go to the Chapter 12 Images directory. This time, load up the facade entrance sequence. In the file list, locate the file called facade0000.png. Make sure the sequence option is still checked. Then click Open. We're going to use all 101 frames this time. Click OK. Label this Facade. Click OK. This automatically creates another IFL file. This sequence is a little bit longer, but we're not going to worry about that right now. Let's add another image input event. Click on the Add Image Input Event button. Click on the Files button. In the list, look for the file fantest0000.png. Again, make sure the sequence option is checked and open this file. Click OK to create the IFL file. Let's label this Interior 1. Click OK. We'll add one more. Click the Add Image Input event, Files, select the Beaker Animation 0000.png file. Make sure Sequence is checked. Click Open, then click OK to create the IFL file. Let's label this sequence Beaker ANI. Beaker ANI. Click OK. The name of the sequence in the video post queue has nothing to do with the file name. It's purely labeling for our organization. Let's click the Zoom Extents button again. We can see that the exterior event runs to frame 59, and the entire animation runs to frame 100. Right now, if we look at the video post queue, we have 4 overlapping sequences. Each of these sequences will be rendered one on top of the other, on top of the other, on top of the other, which is not what we want to have happen. We want these to render as a series of shots strung together using cut edits, which means that when the exterior shot ends, we want the facade shot to begin. In the video post range bar area, click on the facade range bar to highlight it. You'll notice that it turns red to indicate that it's selected. Click on the range bar, hold the left mouse button down, and drag the range bar to the right until the very first frame matches up with the last frame of the exterior shot. Click on the Zoom Extents button again. Now the queue will start from the top and render the exterior. Then once it finishes that shot, it will render the facade shot. Let's go to Interior. Drag it all the way down to the right so the beginning of it lines up with the end of the facade shot. We'll do the same with the beaker animation. Line the first frame up with the last frame of Interior 1, each time clicking the Zoom Extents tool. Then, click in the empty part of the video post queue. That will deselect any currently selected events in your queue. We want to make sure that we don't have anything selected. It will render each sequence in the queue. It will stop rendering one, then start rendering the next, and our transition will be a cut transition between each shot. Now we need to add the output event so we can save this down to our hard drives as a master sequence. This time we'll click on the Add Image Output event from the toolbar. Click on Files. This time we're going to type in master sequence.png. Click the Save button. Go ahead and choose the 24-bit colors option. And since this is our background, we don't need an alpha channel. Uncheck the alpha channel option if it's checked. Click OK. Set the label to PNG Seq. Type in PNG SEQ. This will allow us to label the output so we can recognize the file type. In the video post parameters, we want to make sure that we're starting at frame 0. You'll notice that it's going to be 277 frames long. That would be the number of frames currently being created in the video post queue. Click OK. We now have 4 image input events that we have sequenced using cut transitions. Then the entire animation will be output to another PNG sequence.